Legendary.
Get on, bro. I don't hear myself. Come on. Huh? Okay. Yeah.
Legendary. Cubans and Coniums. I loosen rings all the time. Why would I want to flush money down the toilet for something so inglorious? When I got a diamond mine, I shine through my stories, bruh. My status come from aura. Since I had baby fatty Russell was.
You are now listening to the Shaw Report with Damian Banks.
Hello.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the Shaw Report, and I am your host, Damian Banks. Shaw Bear alums and fans rejoice. You have your very own podcast hosted by moi, Damian S. Banks. Don't act brand new. You know how I do. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. That's SportsByDamion. And Shaw University Athletics are on social media. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And on Facebook.com/Shaw Bears. Thank you for joining me on the Shaw Report. Go to ShawBears.com to download this podcast, to download any other podcast. Get scheduling for sporting events. If you want to go to a volleyball game, football game, anything, track and field, cross country, go to ShawBears.com. Also, you can find the Shaw Report on iTunes. Search the Shaw Report, and on Spreaker.com/Sports by Damian. Now that I got all of that out of the way, got all of the particulars, all the shameless plugs out of the way, let me first take a sip of this natural spring water, because you know, bruh, I gotta have that spring water. Don't really like the purified drinking water. I prefer natural spring water. This is from Food Lion. It is from a protected spring in Richmond, Virginia, actually. So shout out to Nature's Place spring water. Let me take a little sip of this and we can get this thing going. Oh yeah, she crisp. Show you right. Thanks for coming back for another week of the Shaw Report. I really appreciate all the support. And, you know, I do it for the peoples. Full disclosure, I did not attend Shaw University. I am a graduate of Virginia State University, but it's in the CIAA. It's an HBCU. So, you know, I'm giving you what I got. Like Anita Baker say, I'm giving you the best that I got. So, you know, thanks for the love. And it's truly reciprocated. I love you guys back. Got a big show for us this week on the Shaw Report. We're going to recap the football game. Shaw went on the road to Bowie's Creek, North Carolina to take on Campbell University. Got those, going to break down that game. Also, we got an interview from the head soccer coach for the men's and women's soccer team, Matthew Brown, in his first season. Also going to give you the Bears Scoreboard as well as the CIAA Scoreboard. Got a lot of show to give you today, man, so let's get this thing going. I mentioned Shaw University on the road in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina to take on Campbell University. Didn't turn out the way that a lot of Bears fans had hoped. 42-0 loss by the Bears at the hands of the Campbell Camels. Shaw had a week off because of Hurricane Florence. Shaw canceled their home opener versus Chowan. So the guys had a week off to prepare, a week off to rest, you know, before going up to Campbell. That week off may have produced some rust for Shaw because they were coming off a 27-9 win over Mars Hill. And, you know, you wanted to carry that momentum over to the Campbell game, but that momentum didn't carry over. Keon Marsh, quarterback for Shaw University, was under pressure the entire game. Only had 68 yards passing and an interception. Lone bright spot offensively for Shaw University, Darrell McClain, the North Carolina Central transfer, had 104 yards on the ground, had a big 61-yard run in the first quarter. And I think that Shaw needed to score on that possession. They came away with no points in that red zone, and they were already down 14-0 after that big run by Darrell McClain. So it just snowballed after that, culminating in a 42-0 loss at the hands of the Campbells. Now, Campbell's quarterback totaled 227 yards passing, 2 touchdowns throwing for Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith also had 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. So great performance by Campbell's quarterback, dual threat quarterback Daniel Smith. But don't fret, Shaw University. You move on to conference play. Big game coming up on the road, opening up CIAA play at Virginia State University for Shaw and head coach Adrian Jones. Virginia State has a dual threat quarterback as well, Cordero Cook. Great dual threat quarterback for Virginia State. Now, VSU did lose Trenton Cannon, really impressive running back to the NFL, but Virginia State still has a bevy of talented running backs. So Shaw is going to have to regroup, get themselves together, prepare for Virginia State. Don't hang your heads on this loss to Campbell. This loss is over with. It was a non-conference loss. Campbell is a Division I team out of the Big South Conference. So, Shaw, that would make two teams that Shaw played from the Big South Conference. Shaw opened up the season on the road at Hampton. And, they bookended their non-conference play with a road game at Campbell. So you're going to get ready for conference play with Virginia State. Head coach Adrian Jones, get those guys regrouped and refreshed. Get ready for that road trip at Virginia State. I know those guys will be ready. I know the fans, if you can travel to Petersburg, Virginia to support the Shaw Bears versus Virginia State, do so. If not, listen to it on the radio. Go to shawbears.com for more information on that one. We got the show rocking. We got the show rolling. We're going to take this commercial break. I'm going to take another swig of this natural spring water. We'll be back with the interview for this week's podcast. Head coach of the men's and women's soccer team, Matthew Brown. Don't go anywhere. If you do, come right back. You're listening to the Shaw Report on Spreaker Radio. Hey Shaw Bears fans, refresh your game day with the new and improved real Coca-Cola taste of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar with 0 calories and 0 sugar. It's college sports' newest tradition. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola Zero Sugar and taste the feeling. Coca-Cola, proud sponsor of Shaw University Athletics.
You are now listening to the Shaw Report with Damian Banks.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Shaw Report. Again, I am your host, Damian Banks. Bruh, I got back from commercial. You know what time it is. You know what I do. Follow your boy on Instagram and Twitter at SportsByDamian. That's SportsByDamion. And you can follow Shaw University Athletics on all social media platforms. On Twitter, it's at Shaw Bears. On Instagram, it's at SU_Bears. And on Facebook.com/Shaw Bears. Log on to ShawBears.com. Download this podcast. Download scheduling. And any information you want to know about the athletic department is on ShawBears.com. Again, recapping the first segment, 42-0 loss on the road. Tough loss for head coach Adrian Jones and the Shaw Bears football team to the Campbells. Regroup, get ready for a tough road game in CIAA play this Saturday at Virginia State University. Good luck to Coach Jones and his staff and the football team as they embark on their first road trip within the conference of the season. Now, without further ado, moving on to the interview of the week. This man is in his first season as the head coach for both the men's and women's soccer program at Shaw University. Welcome, head coach Matthew Brown.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Now, Coach Brown, we were talking a little bit before we started recording the interview, and we just talked about the early success of both the men's and the women's teams. Now, you are in your first year at Shaw University after serving as an assistant during the inaugural season. And, with this early success this season, what did you attribute that to so early in the season?
Yeah, as you said, we've got off to a positive start on both programs. I think we bring in quite a few new players, a mix of freshmen, a few transfers as well. I think that combination has helped us, and both groups on the men and women seem to have gelled and united together. We're very fresh, a fresh program, but I think the togetherness in the team, I think in pre-season the preparation was correct, and I think in the early part of the season we're seeing the rewards from it.
Now, Coach Brown, you are not new to the coaching game. You have had other stops, University of Buffalo, Elon, you had success there as well. What brought you exactly to Shaw University?
It was kind of a year and a half ago. They cut the men's program at Buffalo. I was kind of in between jobs while still being under contract. I had some good opportunities, but I felt to be a part of something in a great area, to come to Shaw, like you said, as a part-time assistant, and combine that with Elon as well. It was a great opportunity. I felt it was the best fit for me and my family at the time, moving from Buffalo, which is a very cold place, compared to North Carolina, which is a lot better. So I think it was the chance to be a part of something new, and then to build something, and then to get the opportunity to lead the program. I'm very grateful to Dr. Carter for giving me that chance.
Again, we are joined by head coach of the men's and women's soccer team, Matthew Brown. Both teams are off to a great start. We talked about that earlier. Now, Shaw U alum and fans, you can hear the accent from Coach Brown. And, he's a European guy. And across, in Europe, we call soccer in America. But in Europe, it's called football. Yeah. We have American football, but we have the football coach, so to speak, at Shaw University. He's joining us today on the podcast. Great success early in the season for both men and women's. Men are starting off the season 3-1-1. Women are 3-0. Big time 12-0 win for the women as well. Very impressive for that. So, looking up and down your roster, you are from Europe and you have a international flavor on both rosters. How do you mesh those two with the domestic talent as well as the international talent?
I think it's great for Shaw to be able to attract international students. I think it brings such a benefit to our local students as well, with so many different cultures. I think if we look across both programs, we're looking, I think, above 10 different nationalities. And I think it really adds to the student-athlete experience. There are a few challenges along the way. There's a few language barriers and different terminology on the field, and not quite what people are used to. But I think if you look at a lot of the top teams in the sport of football or soccer, however you want to say it, football's a global language that everybody understands, and at the moment we seem to be understanding that language, and hopefully we can continue that.
Now you have, again, looking at your roster, good mix on both men's and women's roster of upperclassmen and, underclassmen, and how those two dynamics working together to make both programs really play at a high level early in the season.
Yeah, I think the seniors and the juniors have really stepped up and helped the new guys settle in. It's very different environment to what a lot of student athletes are used to. I'm very pleased with, like I said, how our juniors and seniors have stepped up, and even some of our freshmen and sophomores, they're showing maturity beyond their years at the moment. And I think if they keep that approach in the next couple of years, it should hold us in good stead, and hopefully that can attribute to successful seasons as we move forward.
All right, Coach Brown, and now looking at your schedule as we try to wrap things up here, you're not affiliated with a conference at this time, so scheduling can be an issue, as you all know from football, basketball, all the sports at Shaw in the CIAA. The soccer team does not have a conference per se right now, so scheduling, can that be an issue for you guys?
Yeah, it's very tough, especially at the moment with the hurricane that's just passed through. A lot of programs are going into conference play, and those games generally take priority than non-conference games, and they're having to reschedule 2 or 3 games. It's very difficult for us. I think as a new program, and I think the administration have been very supportive, and in the next couple of years we'll be looking to either be an affiliate member of a conference, or if the CIAA look to bring in soccer, it's one of the fastest growing sports in America, that would help us a lot. But at the moment, we deal with it, we make it work, and there's a few logistical challenges, but as a new program, not everything's going to be smooth sailing and straight away, and I think we can learn and develop from this as we move on.
Yeah, God bless all those affected by Hurricane Florence, the flooding in eastern North Carolina on the coast. If you got a family member, a friend, that needs help, please do so. Help one another, help each other through these trying times. The hurricane has affected the scheduling for Shaw University, and you had a couple postponements, a couple cancellations, but your season is going to kick back into gear, in the next week or two, hopefully, Lord willing, with the weather. So do you want to try to keep that momentum from the early success, and how are you going to try to maintain that momentum, although you've been off for, at least 2 weeks now?